What is Dawless? I guess Dawless means making music without the assistance of a computer.
This is Oxy Instruments 1. It is a sequencer, musical note generator, probability calculator. Its processor is most likely 10 times more powerful than the computer that was on the spaceship that took men to the moon. This is considered Dawless.
What is Dawless? Well, I guess Dawless is making music away from a computer screen and not using any virtual instruments.
This is MPC XSE. It is the flagship of a family of hardware standalone units that offer sequencing, sampling, audio processing, and an assortment of virtual software instruments that can be controlled via its high-resolution touchscreen. This is considered Dawless.
What is Dawless? Okay, so I guess Dawless is making music without a computer and without using a digital audio workstation. This is Push 3. It is a standalone hardware unit running a slimmed-down version of Ableton Live. This is considered. Hi, welcome to the Midlife Synthesis. Let's get started. For many years now, the term Dawless has been a huge part of our culture here in Synthland. The idea is mainly to escape from the computer, leave the DAW behind, and embrace the rugged and limited nature of hardware music making. Quite ironically, even though the idea was to get away from the DAW, us Dawless musicians have always seemed to be in search of the proverbial DAW in a box, a kind of musical philosopher's stone, if you will, where the hardware comes as close to being a DAW without actually getting to be one, if that makes sense. MPC, Machine Plus, Deluge, OP1, all of these workstations offered some sort of version of this elusive dreambox. I can't help but find it funny, however, that one of the most interesting offerings in this category of musical instruments would come from the other side of the fence, from a company that already makes a DAW and decided to throw their hat in the standalone ring with the Push 3. Now, I'll be making a proper review of the Push 3 soon enough, but today I want to focus on something that I think is much bigger than how much storage it has or how long the battery life is. I want to talk to you about the paradigm shift that the Push 3 represents in what we understand as Dawless music making. Before we continue, I just want to point out that Ableton is not paying me for this, nor do they even have any idea that I'm making this video. This video does have a sponsor though, and that's the good folks at Sweetwater. Sweetwater is one of the largest musical instrument stores on the planet, and they carry everything from synthesizers to electric bass to effects pedals, and I've been using them for years with nothing but great experience every single time. If you buy anything from them using my affiliate links down below, your gas will be helping to support this channel so I can keep making videos just like this one. Thank you, Sweetwater, for supporting me and other creators like me. Now, back to the video. What I believe sets Push aside from the pack are four things. Number one, the DAW came first. From its very first inception, Push was a hardware iteration of an already existing digital audio workstation. Not only that, but it was one of the biggest names in the DAW business. That in itself makes the whole design philosophy different from units that began as hardware units and then developed software to tag along with it. What feels very promising about that is that the software roadmap is already laid out in Live 12 and all that it can do. So it's reasonable to believe that Push 3 will grow alongside of that. Number two, the modular aspect. As far as I know, Push 3 is the only hardware workstation that you can buy as a controller first and later decide to upgrade to standalone. This is great, not only because it lowers the entry point, especially for a large group of people that really don't need this in the standalone version, but it also signals something bigger. By making it modular, Ableton has left its options open for future hardware upgrades to be able to handle future, more demanding software. By doing this, it has most likely ensured a longevity for this device of the likes that we've not seen before. Obviously, I'm speculating, but I would believe that Ableton had planned to make this their flagship for years and years to come. Number three, the 64-button MPE grid. A very big part of why I love Dawless music making so much is that each hardware unit has a vibe, a soul. Push 2 was very functional, but for all intents and purposes, it was very much a MIDI controller hooked up to a computer. On the other hand, sitting down with Push 3 on my couch or in my living room and just letting go on the pads has been an amazing experience, and I really believe that they've managed to capture something special here, elevating it from just another groove box into a living, breathing instrument. finally, number 4, and the reason that prompted this whole video in the first place, is that it truly blurs the line between what's in the box music making and Dawless. Now, don't get me wrong, being able to switch from controller mode to standalone has been done for years in other devices. My MPC can do that. But I don't think we've seen this level of integration between the hardware and the software before.
Just think about that for a second. This isn't some third-party plugin that you have to load into your DAW with all the quirks and pitfalls that workflow usually brings. Because let's be honest, even though I love MPC to death, I don't think that anyone's going out there and looking to buy an MPC just because they can't wait to work on MPC Beats software. Not the same for Ableton Live, which is the bedrock of thousands of musicians around the world. And on Push 3, when you go from standalone to the computer, it's the same project, it's the same DAW, and you can bounce back and forth between them, and that is just mind-blowing to me. And it begs the question, what does it really mean to be DAWless now? Of course, it would also be fair to ask, does it even matter? No, not really. Nothing really matters if you go wide enough, but for those of us who care, it kinda does matter. It matters like having a favorite football team matters, or how choosing a faction in Warhammer or Race in StarCraft matters. It's the tools we choose to have our fun. It's the tribe of people we pick to share the experience and talk about the stuff with. And I feel that the reason that we make these distinctions in the first place is that, deep down, we really enjoy being part of our little tribe of music noodlers, whatever or whoever they may be. My take on all this is that the future is looking very bright for all of us, and I think that there has never been a better time than now to be in the electronic music space, whether you choose to be on a computer or solely on hardware. How about you? Does Dawless mean something, or is there even a difference between Dawless and the DAW workflow anymore? What's your definition of Dawless in 2024? I'd love for you to comment down below so we can keep this conversation going. At least for me, I'm just happy that we're so spoiled for choice, where I can go fully Dawless, fully DAW, or this thing right here in the middle, where the lines are absolutely blurred. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. See you next time.